Of all the starts that were introduced in Federations, one sits above all of them in terms of sheer overpoweredness. Oh yes, today we're going to be talking about the Shattered Ring. Ever since Stellaris came out, a lot of people have been wanting to play with ring worlds at the start of the game rather than at the end, and there were several mods that allow you to do this. However, as of Federations, Shattered Ring has been introduced that allows you to start on a ring world, and oh dearie me, is it overpowered. As soon as you start, you find yourselves on a ring world where most of the segments have in fact been destroyed, or at least they are ruined and you can repair them, except for one where a singular planet seems to have rammed through the ring itself. Yes, it is in fact the interloper and irreparable damage. Now those two items can be mined for minerals and are pretty much the only minerals that you will have available to you at the start of the game. Why are these the only ones that are available to you? Well, ring worlds do not inherently generate any minerals, and that's of course a serious problem for anybody who's starting out. Thankfully, there are ways to overcome this. If you set up your empire in such a way that you have adaptability to cold worlds, such as alpine worlds, etc., you'll be able to colonize those planets, and they have a higher chance of spawning those minerals districts on them, which is rather useful in this particular case. So if you're going to go for the Ringworld Start, make sure that you have either Arctic, Tundra, or Alpine as your preference. Now you may be wondering, ASpec, do districts on Ringworlds not require special resources? Yes, in fact they do. They have individual upkeep, such as the commercial segment having the upkeep of crystals, the research segments require gas, and of course the agricultural segment requiring 2 motes. However, the Shattered Ring Start spawns you with something rather special, which is a special tile blocker called the Arcane Generator. Now the Arcane Generator will generate the resources that you require on that ring segment, or at least that district, as soon as it comes online, effectively making it free in upkeep. Now obviously, in order to build those particular segments, such as the agricultural segment needing 100 motes, what you can do is there's these special blockers called the Decrepit Tunnels that allow you, upon clearing for 500 energy, to get the resources that you need in order to build the districts on the planet. And oh my lord, are the districts hilariously overpowered. This is the perfect start for somebody who is just starting in Stellaris, aside from maybe the mineral issue. However, it is so easy to get those once you start rolling. Why is this exactly? Well, it has more to do with the fact of the sheer amount of resources and jobs that are generated by the districts. For instance, again, the agricultural districts generates 20 farmer jobs, but that is not the best part. The best part comes from number 2 and number 3. The research segment and the commercial segment. These 2 segments allow for 2 very specific play styles, and that is a megacorp and a research style nation. Now, the megacorp start on Ringworld is incredibly powerful. I cannot underestimate this. Why is that? Well, because it generates merchant jobs. Merchants generate trade value, and trade value is something that megacorps are incredibly good in when it comes to using them. They can allow you to build up your economy extremely powerfully in the late game, and as such dominate the galactic community. And that by itself is incredibly good, but you obviously start off with one segment. Once you start getting into the mid game, once you have a research segment up and running and you generate 80 of every single tech resource, well, you can start getting megastructures and then unlock the other segments. If you're extremely lucky, you get Cybrex, you get yourself a second ring world, yes, a second ring world, do the secrets of the Cybrex, and then on top of that, get yourselves megastructures incredibly quickly, which will then allow you to build up those 2 ring worlds and get even more snowbally when it comes to your power. Now, within the ring worlds, there is a couple of things that are incredibly gamey that you can do, and that has mostly to do with 2 very specific things. One of which is the Horizon Signal. If you play with the Horizon Signal, not only will your capital have a bunch of additional planets that can be turned into tomb worlds that can be used. But on top of that, the interloper itself is actually considered to be a planet. Therefore, the broken world will instantly be restored to a tomb world as well, which you can then colonize, and then you have basically 4 Ringworld segments. But that's not where the fun ends. There is a tradition that allows you to kind of, sort of, exploit the Arcane Generator, the tile blocker that we discussed before. As you can see right now, it produces 2 motes, 2 gas, and 2 crystals, which is specifically designed to upkeep our specific segments. That is fine. However, if we go into our traditions, and specifically administrative operations underneath prosperity, basically what it says is building upkeep and district upkeep is reduced by 10%. Now this affects, of course, also the Ringworld segments. However, it does not affect the Arcane Generator. This means that this particular planet, or at least Ringworld segment, is now generating additional strategic resources, even though there is no way of actually generating them locally. And what do I mean by that? Well, if we look here, once again, it's 222, the upkeep of these commercial segments, because we were using the special tradition here, is actually 1.8. And in that sense, we are generating those resources for free very early on, and that is incredibly powerful, because having the ability of generating large amounts of those resources over time will make you capable of really competing on the galactic market and getting all the resources that you need, specifically minerals. Now, as I mentioned, you kind of want to go for Arctic worlds here. You do not have a Ringworld specific planetary compatibility, so you can just have your Ringworld and have a 100%. They're effectively 3 Gaia worlds with gigantic districts on top of it. Now, why are megacorps so very good on the Ringworld? Well, it has to do with the district size. Megacorps are significantly hampered by their sprawl. They get a 100% negative bonus to sprawl. However, considering the districts are all considered to be 1 district, they only impact with 1 sprawl point, but they have gigantic population requirements. And especially with the commercial districts, with 5 merchant jobs, the artisan jobs, the clerk jobs, ×2 if you play it right, is absolutely insane. And the merchants, of course, generate trade value, which can then be transitioned into anything you want. Especially if you have a federation, a economic federation, you can get the trade league bonus, which generates all your trade value in energy, unity, as well as consumer goods. And as you can see right now, this Ringworld segment is generating 495 trade value per tick. But of course, you can go in the other direction and just go straight for research and get all the research that you would ever want. I would not necessarily recommend it all the time. It is good to get a lot of research. Right now, this Ringworld segment is generating 266 and 256 engineering for some reason. But yeah, it's so incredibly powerful to get Ringworld segments. And if you're a player who's playing this for the very first time, I do highly recommend for you to try out the Ringworld Start and go absolutely ham. Do be aware that you will need to expand a reasonable amount in order to get the fleet power as well as the fleet capacity that you need in order to be able to field the fleet and, of course, get those minerals. Again, if you can roll the Arctic worlds, the Alpine worlds, and the Tundra worlds, you have a higher chance of getting minerals. And then, of course, you can start steamrolling. If you're really lucky, you can get the Rubricator or any of the Relic worlds and just use those to generate massive amounts of minerals, which you can then also use robots on who get higher bonuses, etc., etc., etc. The Ringworld Start, it is incredibly powerful. It's incredibly fun. You'll be able to control the galaxy quite easily with massive fleets, massive amounts of resources, and pretty much anything you need. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank my patrons for making this video possible. If it wasn't for you, I will not be able to do all of these. And if you, dear viewer, are not involved yet, but you do want to, be sure to click on the Patreon link below. In addition, if you don't have Federations or any of the other expansions for that matter, and you want to pick them up, head over towards the Paradox store. There's most likely a sale going on right now if you use the link in the description below. I will get a cut of this. It directly supports both me as well as the developers, and you will get a Steam key that you can just literally just punch in. Just be aware that yeah, like I said, I get a cut out of that, so you directly support me as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take good care. And until next time, take good care of yourselves, and as always, abuse those ring worlds.